I'm Dr. Eugene W. Bunkowske. We're here at the convention in Houston, and it takes me back some 43 years, I think, to my first convention. It was in New York City, and I suppose I'd like to talk a little bit about how things are different. In the midst of those 43 years, 20 of them were spent at Concordia Theological Seminary as a professor of missions to develop missions for the staff and the faculty and for everybody there at the seminary. The great thing that happened there is that we developed a PhD in missiology program. It was only about 2 weeks ago that I was back there at the seminary for the theological program that brought people from all over the world. And you can imagine that the greatest joy for me was to sit at the table and to see Joseph Ochola from Kenya, to see somebody from India, to see somebody from Nigeria, to see somebody from South Africa, to see somebody from parts of Asia, and to see people from South America. And it makes me realize that we didn't think of 2 Timothy 2 verse 2, take this good message and that you got from me among many witnesses, entrust it to others who'll be able to teach others in the same way in those days. We thought of it as something a little bit beyond German. But today, you see, we're realizing that it's people from all over the world that have become a part of this Lutheran expression of the Christian faith, that have taken it back to all over the world. I think of our Concordia in Selma with Telahun, who's just been installed as the president of that seminary, one of the people that came through this PhD program. Many are heads of our partner churches in other parts of the world or in the seminaries or responsible positions. So that's one of the great things I think about. I've been privileged too, after 20 years at the seminary, to get involved in the Hoffman Institute connected with Concordia University in St. Paul, Minnesota. And that, in a sense, flips the coin over 180 degrees for the lay people. So basically the things at the seminary were for the pastors of the church, those that were preparing people and helping people to take the gospel out in their own communities. Now, the Master of Arts in Christian Outreach there, which is not only in the U.S., but now is also in Nigeria. We have just received from the accrediting agency the right to do this online to any part of the world. And so now it's also very much involved with the lay people. And so I guess that's another emphasis that I see during this 43 years, a movement away from only pastors to the laity. In our time, we've had a chance to travel to some 90 countries of the world, mainly in the cause of Christian outreach and world missions. And that brings our seminaries and our universities closer together too. We're beginning to realize that this matter of taking that good news to people all over the world is a privilege for all of us, whether we're in a congregation, whether we're in a Concordia University, or whether we are at the seminary. We are more and more together in this. This convention particularly is of interest to me. I have worked and written and talked to presidents of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod for 30 years about the idea of having a single purpose. In our original Constitution, we had, I think it was some 10 or 12 objectives. And I don't know whether we realize it, but I think subconsciously people have chosen one of those objectives. That is, maybe human care, or seminary education, or congregational work, or evangelism, or whatever it is, and they've tended to pull apart over that. I've long felt that we need a single purpose that we can all look at, and we can see these objectives as means of meeting that single purpose, and that if we meet that single purpose, we will in fact find ourselves again closer to each other, just as our universities and our seminaries find themselves closer to each other. I understand that this year the two seminaries are going to have their open house here at the convention together. Now that's on the outward side, and the artifact side, a sign of this coming together. A single purpose, if we can achieve that here at this convention, I believe is going to be in the heart of what we do, in a certain way too, to bring things together. So that's my prayer for this convention, that we get a single purpose. And God's blessing to each and every one of you who are listening to this, whether you've been at the convention or whether you're watching it through podcasts or whatever it is. continue to support God's work in all these different ways. God's blessings to you.